Welcome, Wanderer, to Voidhammer Podcasts. The lanterns are lit, the codex is open, and the truth of the realms awaits. Chapter 1, Episode 1, The Last Realm Wakes. In the dying light of creation, when 8 realms have fallen to shadow and only Emberhold remains, something impossible happens. The shattered gate opens for the first time in centuries, and through it falls a figure that shouldn't exist. Today we witness the moment the last realm stirs from its death watch, and a spark thought lost forever returns to ignite the final chapter of existence. Archivist, the void has consumed nearly everything. Tell us about this last ember of creation.
The last realm stands alone, Chronicler. Where once 9 realms bridged the cosmos, now only Emberhold endures. Its walls are half ruined, half forged. Its people are fragments, survivors from Flameborn's ashes, refugees from Stormreach's fallen citadels, the last archivists of Spiritveil's memory.
And the shattered gate? What makes this moment so significant?
The gate has been sealed since the consumption began. It is the last bridge between what was and what might be. When it opens, reality itself trembles, and through that trembling falls the eternal Voyager, unwritten, memoryless, carrying a spark the void could not devour.
Unwritten. That's a word that keeps appearing in the prophecies. What does it mean for someone to exist outside the Codex?
The Codex writes all possibilities, all futures, all fates. But the Voyager was born from the unstable shard, a realm that collapsed the moment it formed. He is the fracture the universe could not contain, the spark that exists in the spaces between what is written.
Born from a collapsed realm. That's not supposed to be possible, is it?
Nothing about the Voyager is possible. He should not exist. He should not have survived. He should not remember anything. And yet here he falls, through a gate that should not open, into a realm that should not endure.
You mentioned he's memoryless. What happened to strip away his identity?
The void consumed him, Chronicler. Not his body, his essence. For 1,000 years, the void fed on his spark, using it as fuel to awaken itself. It devoured his memories, his name, his purpose, his connection to the hammer. He was not erased, he was emptied.
But if the void consumed him completely, how is he here? How did any part of him survive?
The pentant, a fragment of the hammer itself, torn free during the first sundering. It fell into the void with him, shielding the last ember of his spark. The pentant is his anchor, his memory seed, the only reason he did not dissolve into nothingness.
So when he falls through the gate, he's essentially a blank slate carrying this ancient artifact.
A blank slate with black hair and hollow eyes, yes, but not for long. The moment Kaelren of Flameborn touches him, everything changes.
Kaelren, tell me about this moment of contact.
Kaelren carries the blood of Flameborn, the first realm to fall, the first to believe in the Unwritten One. His spark has been dormant his entire life. But when he touches the Voyager, when their sparks meet, his embercraft ignites. Fire remembers, Chronicler, and Kaelren remembers the prophecy his father taught him.
What prophecy?
Fire remembers the Unwritten One. When the last ember fades, he shall return, not as king, not as child, but as fracture, as spark, as the fire that never died.
And Kaelren recognizes him. But this awakening, this spark igniting, it draws attention, doesn't it?
The Council feels it immediately, a spark anomaly in Emberhold. They release the Hunters, ancient constructs designed to eliminate threats to reality. Silent, merciless, unstoppable. They were sealed away for centuries. This was a mistake.
The Hunters sound terrifying, but there's something worse coming, isn't there?
The Void notices. It feels the Voyager's spark stirring, feels the Pendult awakening, and it sends its first general to reclaim what it believes belongs to it.
The Harrowed King.
Once, he was the King of Flameborn, a ruler of fire and rebellion. But the Void twisted his spark into something else, a Void Spark. Now, he burns with black flame, devours other sparks, and leads the tide that consumed the realms.
So the very first threat the Voyager faces is the corrupted king of Kaelren's own people.
The irony cuts deep, Chronicler. Kaelren must choose between his king and the spark he believes can save everything. And when the Harrowed King arrives, when the Voidborn breach Emberhold's walls, Kaelren makes a choice that will echo through the entire saga.
What choice?
He kneels. To save Emberhold, to protect the Voyager, Kaelren kneels before the Harrowed King. The last son of Flameborn bows to the shadow of what his realm once was.
That's devastating.
It is the moment hope breaks. And yet, Chronicler, it is also the moment the prophecy truly begins. For in that breaking, something else awakens.
The hammer.
The hammer remembers its bearer. When the Voyager's spark flickers, when death reaches for him, the hammer stirs. Not fully awake, not yet, but stirring. A whisper of what it once was, what it might become again.
So this is truly just the beginning. Chapter 1 of something much larger.
The Soul-Forged era begins with a fall, Chronicler. A broken figure tumbling through a dying gate into a realm that should not exist. But from that fall, from that breaking, comes the first spark of what might be reforged.
You know, there's something beautiful about that. Even in the darkest moment, when everything seems lost, there's still this ember of possibility.
The last realm wakes not because it is strong, but because it remembers what strength once was. Emberhold endures not because it cannot fall, but because it chooses to stand. And the Voyager returns not because he is whole, but because even broken sparks can ignite.
The Void thought it had won by consuming him, but in a way, that consumption became the very thing that would lead to its undoing.
The Void's greatest mistake was believing that emptiness could contain a spark born from impossibility. The Voyager fell through the gate carrying nothing but the pendant and the memory of fire. But sometimes, Chronicler, that is enough.
And Kaelren's recognition, his spark awakening, that's the moment the last realm truly wakes up.
Fire remembers. Stone endures. Lightning strikes. Memory echoes. But it is the meeting of two sparks, one lost, one dormant, that begins the reforging of all things.
So when we step back from this opening chapter, what we're really witnessing is the moment when hope returns to a universe that had forgotten what hope looked like.
Hope wearing the face of a stranger. Hope carrying the weight of forgotten names. Hope falling through a gate that should not open into a realm that should not stand. The last realm wakes because the unwritten one has come home.
And with that awakening, everything changes. The Void's perfect victory becomes the seed of its own defeat.
The Voyager falls. Kaelren kneels. The hammer stirs. And in that moment, the last realm stops dying and starts remembering how to live. Chapter 1 ends with a choice, Chronicler. But the saga has only just begun.
Until the next transmission, Wanderer, keep your spark close. The Void is listening. And remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and support us on Patreon, Attack Voidhammer Official, for more lore from the realms.